Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Okay, let's do some losers then. Give me your first loser.
Let's see. All right. Well, I'll just go with my hate, the Lakers.
Yeah.
I just, again, I mentioned this when we talked about the Lakers. You have the current Lakers of Kessler, Grimes, Mamu, Looney, which he's like,
Yeah.
him as your backup is like, oof, Sexton, or would you rather have the two picks, the two swaps, LeBron, Rui, Smart, Jackson Hayes as your backup, or Ayton, right?
Mhm.
I mean, you know me, I'm not like, oh my gosh, LeBron and Rui Hachimura, like they're not like, oh my gosh, look at this. But I would much rather have like two of those guys than Grimes or Mamu on the deals
Yeah.
that they have. So I don't think the Lakers are like, oh my gosh. I mean, they're going to look a lot worse if Kessler can't play like he has in the last couple of years. But I just don't think you've really upped your ceiling all that much by adding a great defensive center, but he's limited in what he can play, and you're about to play some teams in the West where you're like, I don't know if I trust Kessler chasing Victor Wembanyama around the court,
Yeah.
or trying to figure out a defensive scheme for Shea or Anthony Edwards or even any of the Spurs guards. It seems like they're a one-trick pony that with Luka, you're going to look good at nights, and it's going to they might end up the same as they did last year, but you just threw away all those assets, and now it's this or nothing.
Yeah, I agree. Just to be clear, I think Kessler, when we did the talked about him, he like 58 2 years ago, five right games last year with that was an ankle or shoulder, right?
Shoulder.
Injury. Yeah, shoulder injury. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm with you. It's not that they signed Kessler. Kessler's fine. If they were to just signed him for like 32 million and just got him outright, I'd be more up for it. It's the assets you had to give up for him on top of you're relying on him for all your defense basically. So it's not like just like okay, like who's going to be able to guard Luca, right? Maybe he can push him around like Isaiah Hartenstein does, like he's going to be a little bigger. That's fine. But it's like did I say Luca? I meant Victor. I meant guard
Yeah.
Victor. Yeah, I didn't mean Luca. Yeah, guard Victor. Like he could push him around like Isaiah Hartenstein does. But it might not be as effective, but you have something there. It's all the around them. It's like Sexton can't guard no one. Grimes is not known for his defense. Mamu is not known for his defense either. And then you have Austin Reeves and Luca who don't play defense either, or not good defenders, I should say. So it's like you're putting a lot on Kessler, and if he goes down, I don't know, man. It's like it's gonna be like 140 to 140 type games that they'll be playing. So I kind of agree. I don't like their off season.
Yep.
Let me go to my loser. I'm gonna give the Pelicans a loser. Kind of maybe a team nobody's been talking about. That's because they have made zero moves. Zero moves. They won, I think, like 26 games last year, and they're gonna just run it right back. So they're a loser to me because I think, and Troy Weaver did this in Detroit as well, is where he puts too much of a high price on his assets, and then nobody wants them, and then they lose all their value, and then you get 2 second round picks for Jeremy Grant or something like that when you could have got a first a year before. You know what I'm saying? Like it just I don't understand why he continues to do this. It's like one of his biggest and why he was not successful in Detroit as a GM, where he was a good drafter, but not just like a player guy, like movement and trades and stuff. So right now they have made zero moves. They're a loser in my opinion because I think he's just putting way too much. Like Herb Jones, 2 first round picks, dude can't even shoot 30% from three consistently. Like what are we doing?
That's a good one. I didn't even think of the Pels, but I didn't actually realize they made no moves.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like, cool, you're standing pat. You could probably run the same team back and be a little better than last year. They didn't tank, and there was kind of some games where, whatever. But you probably got one of the healthier Zion seasons. And again, we've seen some of these teams kind of come around to it. Look, I know you like Herb Jones, and he's like your guy, develop. But if some team is offering a player and a good first, let's go. Like, let's move on, because any of these guys at this point, by the time you're good again, 3 or 4 years from now, like Herb Jones, he's not going to be there, or he's going to have fallen off, or you're going to have tried and wasted 3 years trying to build a perfect team that Herb Jones fits on. And then by that time, you're like, oh, cool. He lost half a step, because a lot of defense is about your athleticism. And if that slides just a little, then you become an average defender. And you're like, cool, we spent 4 years trying to build because we wouldn't trade Herb Jones.
Right.
So that's a good one.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just that. Like, let's say even if by some miraculous miracle he gets better, now you got to extend him. Now you're not going to have the money to extend him, but it's on a team that's not winning. So I don't. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'm with you. Give me another loser.
Wolves.
Yeah.
I know that could change. Like, if they were to bring in LeBron, like, okay, that solves some of it. And this isn't even just like a, hey, I don't like LaMelo and they brought him in, but they got rid of Randall and
Reed.
What's his name?
Reed. Yeah.
Right. So you lost a lot of size and a really good shooter from the 4-5 position, and they haven't been able to replace that yet. And their starting five, if you play McDaniels at the 4, it's going to work against a lot of teams, but it is on the smaller side. If they got LeBron, like, I would probably move them over to neutral or like on the plus side, because he's a big dude. He can play the 4. He can rebound. He can bring up the ball. We all know what LeBron can do. But at this point, like, just on the basis of they got rid of Randall because they kind of wanted to be cheap. And then they made the move for LaMelo to kind of distract and offset that. But I think they're a little small to compete against the best of the best teams.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I have, and again, it's not the LaMelo thing as much as like what made them so unique was the fact they had those three bigs and they can kind of rotate them as they need to, and now you lose that. Like, right, like you could even rotate McDaniels in there, and you had kind of like 4 guys, like depending on your matchup. But now they basically just have Rudy Gobert and that's it. So right now, so like you said, it could change, but I'm with you. I have them as a loser. Wizards, I have as a loser. Marvin with the Trey extension, which everybody's still kind of crazed. Like I don't know if anybody can explain that to me. Trading for Ayton, I hear he's a great locker room guy, so that'll help out. And then I didn't mind the Middleton move, but I just think like at some point you got to focus on development, and I feel like some of the moves they made is kind of putting development on the back burner for some of these guys, and I don't. I was excited for their offseason. As you remember, it was like one of the most interesting offseason for me, and they went the total opposite way of what I would have done if I were them. So I'm putting them as a loser.
Yep, they were on mine too. I've referenced it before, but they had their GM on like the Ryan Russillo podcast, like right after we did our exit interview.
Yes.
And I went from like, wow, I'm kind of positive about Washington like you were. And after I listened to that, I text you, and what they've done since, they're just big on trying to be better. And I get that, but Chris Middleton, great. If you're going to play him 15 minutes a game, fine. You paid Trae Young $200 million. Guess what? He's playing a lot. You're keeping Anthony Davis at this point as we stand. You spot on with DeAndre Ayton, right? So you have a locker room with Trae Young and DeAndre Ayton, which is like, oh, you have Chris Middleton to hopefully offset that. And then you have like a rookie in AJ DeBanza that's like, wait, what position am I going to play? Like, how am I fitting into this along with the youth that they had? Long story short, they brought in too many dudes that probably think or want to play. And it sounds like they're just not going to tolerate like the dumb rookie mistakes. And guess what, guys? It doesn't matter what, you're not winning the East with the team you just put together.
Yeah, and the other thing, we still don't know 100% if AD even wants to be there. So that could also cause problems within the team and locker room. So, another loser?
This is a small one. I'll just throw it in there for note as we stand. The Thunder, not like a big loser because they're still going to be really good, but Isaiah Joe, Wiggins out the door. Again, not big playoff guys, but when you think of playoff seedings and matchups, the Thunder's like trump card, like superpowers, like they just bring in all these guys and you're like, holy cow, Isaiah Joe's just coming in the game and just hit 8 threes. Like, what are we going to do? You lose some of that. They drafted like another giant guy, so he's obviously not, coming in to make like a huge impact. They already got two bigs ahead of them. So it's not like, oh my gosh, the Thunder totally blew this offseason. But as we talked about, you reach the point where sometimes you got to sacrifice that 7, 8, 9, 10 guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably doesn't hurt you in the playoffs because these guys barely played in the playoffs, but you got to get there. And if you have another kind of injury plagued season, you might lose 5 or 10 more games because you don't have these guys that are just dependable off the bench.
Yeah, that's a good one. I do like the guy they drafted. Not Mara, I'm curious about, but the guy Ben.
Yeah, does it start with an S or something?
Yes, Sterlis or something like that. Sorry, guys, I don't have it up in front of me. Yeah, no, that's a good one. Any other losers?
Just the Celtics for the optics of everything, and they'll probably be fine regular season wise, but again, you got older and kind of took on the whole Paul George drama. And if he's healthy, you're probably gonna you're like, what are we complaining about? The Celtics won 50 games again, but if he misses time, I think you're going to see kind of the drop off with that. But just the optics of trading.
But they got Hugo.
That guy.
They'll be fine.
They're so confident he's playing in the summer league. So, he better go out and put up like 40 this week in the summer league in Vegas. Otherwise, we're going to have to be worried.
Yeah, I had the Celtics as a lukewarmer just because I did like the Mitchell signing. And I don't, like you said, it's going to be based off of their health, but I think Paul George can be a good connector on that team. The Robinson thing was a huge problem last year, though, when they didn't have a defensive center that they could keep in the game. Like Embiid killed them. Mitchell Robinson is a good replacement there, but yeah, I don't blame you putting him as the loser either because, like you said, the optics are really bad at the very least. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.